evening, all you awesome people. I'm actually down here. Guy is right there, as you can tell. And this is Tales from the Film Set, where we sit there, talk to actors, celebs, and YouTubers, and basically people that are far more famous than we will ever end up being, about the stuff that basically they're known for, plus maybe a little bit about stuff that they never get the chance to talk about. Me, you know, Rob, you know, Ryan, you know, Day, you know, but you're more interested in basically talking to the guy in the full screen right there, Mr. Gui Agustini. Como vai, sir? You, of course,
Oh,
are the
wow.
voice of Sunspot on X-Men 97. We might be talking a little bit of Elsbeth because Lord knows that show is just a peach of fun, and I'm really happy it came back for season 2. But in the meantime, sir, how the heck you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Scott. That's an amazing introduction. I love when there's like a little trailer teaser coming up first. So that's pretty cool. I always get very entertained. And I heard a little bit of your Portuguese, so I appreciate that. Tô muito bem, muito bem.
Okay,
uh,
obrigado. Yeah, my Portuguese is more or less limited to what I know from working with like Portuguese soccer players, you
oh,
know, or Brazilian
right.
soccer players in Major League Soccer. There's a few of them, so you know, more.
Um pouquinho, mas ó, tá bom, tá
Yeah.
bom.
Yeah, okay, you
No,
just
it's a
killed it. That's fine.
pleasure. Like I'm very excited to be here, and then I just briefly say hello to everybody here. Like I said, Robert, Ryan, and Day, and it's a pleasure to know there's going to
Just to hear
be.
him say my name, it's just like,
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course.
So
You guys are awesome, and I'm so honored to be part of this episode, and I guess we're gonna be seeing a little bit, or obviously listening, but it's super cool. So thanks for having me.
hey, my privilege, man. Our privilege, man.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah, talk.
able to see you. No, it is
Yeah.
seeing. People on Facebook can see you right now.
Oh, we're live. You're
We're
right.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Right here
yeah.
live.
We're
oh yeah,
live.
we're going.
Yeah,
Right, we're going. Okay,
yeah.
good.
So basically, thankfully, nobody picked their nose, so basically, we got away with that one on that.
And
But yeah,
I haven't
talking.
opened my drink yet, so we're good.
Well, I don't know. I got mine,
Nice.
but Guy,
I
man,
know.
talk a little bit about Sunspot. I mean, I know you've had some voice work going back. You know, you had GTA. You've had some smaller things up to this point, but obviously, this is a massive jump in the career. There was a lot of question and maybe a little uncertainty about whether the series was going to be good, whether it was going to hold up to the original. And by God, it was better than the original. As someone who grew up with the original, dude, it was fantastic. So yeah, very excited about season 2. As an aside, no, he is not giving any spoilers upon season 2 because A, they don't really give it to him, because B, Marvel and Disney does not release that. I know that from personal experience, and I've mentioned that on the show. Um, but yeah, talk a little bit about the experience on that, and I'll open it up to the rest of the guys after that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the disclaimer, by the way. That is very true. So there you go. But yeah, no, as you said, even like, GTA, I didn't really do voice work. I did mostly, motion capture for like population and stuff like that. And so I had done commercial voiceover. And most of my career has been in the commercial area, with on-camera commercials and stuff like that. And I think I still like I haven't gone back to really get the I'm a Virgo, so I'm all about like specific dates and timeline and all that kind of thing. But I didn't go back to see, but I believe that I voiced a character, a smaller character in Spidey and His Amazing Friends, which is also
Mhm.
Disney. It's a surfer
Yeah, that's like
dude.
a Disney kid,
Yeah.
I believe. Younger
Yes,
version.
yes, and is in two different episodes. But I think I recorded that before I got the role, man. I'm not really sure.
Mm.
Maybe I had already booked the role, but I hadn't recorded. I can't remember. But anyway, but definitely this has been the biggest the biggest thing that I've worked on, the bigger role and the biggest project in the voice work, but just in general, I think. I was part of an HBO show, which was amazing, The Time Traveler's Wife, but I'm not really in it. You see like parts of my body. I was Theo James's acting double, which was
Love
obviously
that show.
incredible.
Love that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great, right? I mean, it's a bummer that we didn't get a second season, but
Well,
anyway,
that's on
yeah.
HBO. Screw them, man.
Their loss.
um, but but yeah, so this is completely new to me, and it's changing obviously a lot of my personal and my professional life, and I've been so pleased with everything. It's been so surreal, the experience and everything that I'm learning and everything I'm becoming part of now, and yeah, it's just super awesome.
Nice. Anyone? Well, I'm gonna open it up to you guys big time.
All right.
I'll give it to me and Robert first because I got a lot of good stuff, but I don't want to.
Oh, all right. Let's see.
All right. So my first question would be for you is, what did you do to prepare to be the character? Did you read the comics at all? Did you do a lot of research?
Yeah, I mean, as much research as I possibly could, and I've been saying like there's not a lot about Sunspot, right? There's obviously the what we've seen in the little bits in the live action in one of the animation shows that he was part of, but he doesn't really speak much. But I was given when I got cast the Marvel database, that's online that everybody can find, and that was definitely my number one source of research. I didn't grow up reading comics, and though I grew up with the original as well, we didn't know Sunspot back then. So I've been very embarrassed to say that I didn't really know Sunspot, who is a first Marvel Brazilian mutant and superhero. But that's the truth. And so yeah, I dove deep into that website and then everything I could find online, and eventually the creators at Marvel sent me some digital New Mutant comic books and stuff, and so yeah, exactly, yes. No, not his first appearance. Which I have. My friend bought it for me. My first experience at a Comic-Con was at WonderCon, and I understood the whole thing about the first print and all this this specific things, and I wanted to buy one, and so he got it for me, but he forgot to give me his last time when we went to Comic-Con Revolution, and so he has it, but he's gonna give it to me, and I got a couple other ones since, and so yeah, but that's basically like I just went online and I watched every single video I could find on Sunspot, and about his powers and everything, but also the script is always, as I like to say, king and queen, and that's the main directive, right, and then the main blueprint that I like to follow. So yeah, that was my process.
Okay.
Oh God. Put me on the spot. Oh
Yes,
God.
sir. Gotta be
All right,
ready.
Day.
You
Day,
can do it.
day.
Stop
Yeah,
it.
all right, we'll take that
You
one in the
can
meantime.
do
Take
it.
that one in the meantime.
Okay, so pretty much. Oh wow, Kyle has a question. If
There's
you
a
could
question right there. Yes.
voice any additional X-Men character, who would you want to voice?
It's such a hard question.
I mean, that's fair. There's a lot of actors that do multiple voices on the show. So.
That is true.
Do,
Yeah.
they do. See, but there's always there's a part of me again, as my Virgo brain is the that I actually could definitely realistically voice, or there's just the dream that I've and I always go with the more that's not really realistic, which is I've always said my number one favorite character is Wolverine, but I also really like Gambit, and so I think I would fit better with a Gambit, and I've been joking with AJ who voices Gambit, so that would be my my choice, because somebody asked me to in a live action, I said Gambit, and so somebody posted online and he was like, "You have my blessing." I was like, "Thank you, yes, I'd play Gambit in the live action."
Okay.
Nice. So
Well, I'm gonna
do proper research on the character. Yeah, okay.
I want to bring up
I think
something, and it is an honor, and I think y'all did amazing job, especially you, everybody that basically brought back the nostalgia, our childhood memories of when we were kids watching this show. It was like Saturday morning or in the afternoon where we got ready to watch the X-Men. And I have to really say, y'all did y'all thing on this season of '97, and for that,
you got it.
Here, give me 1 second. Let me move that over there.
Yeah, of course, please. That's amazing.
That was going to be a question. How does it feel to be a Funko Pop now?
I know. I was so excited. I mean, everything has been taking me by surprise. I've just been surprised, though, since it's come out. Every week there's something new I didn't imagine, didn't think that it was going to be possible, and then there it is. That was one of them, and I see Day has so many in his background, so
yes,
he's a big collector.
Stop.
Not the most of anybody in my organization, though. You know, we have someone who's got twice as many. Actually, but
I do too.
Yeah, Brandon's got like 400. But anyway,
what?
Yes,
I love it.
But as far as me, I can't even compare to those guys. But also knowing that you're Portugal from Portuguese, have you ever been to the Portuguese festival in New Jersey?
No.
Okay.
But wait, Dave.
Don't.
I'm from Brazil originally, so it's Brazilian Portuguese.
We were speaking Portuguese, but Brazilian Portuguese earlier on.
Yeah, he's Brazilian. He's got that Carnival blood in him.
He'll still work.
But I know New Jersey has a lot of Brazilians. I don't know if there's a Portugal
that's when the
as well, but
because that's in a certain area, because that's why they have the Portuguese festival where they have Brazilians and people from Portugal. Stop, Ryan. Let me finish.
I'm just saying, too much sangria. There's too much sangria.
That's you.
Out here.
Hey, he's having fun. It's okay.
That's you. But I'm just saying, have you ever thought about coming to Jersey to this festival?
No, I haven't, but I would love to. Now that I've been, I've got like a pretty full agenda coming up for the end of the rest of the year in terms of like Comic-Cons, which I'm super excited about.
Nice.
Like I said, I was part of my very first one last month in Ontario, California for Comic-Con Revolution. And so I've always loved traveling. I've always loved traveling for work, but this is also I just love the experience, with the fans and the people that I get to be with, and so I'm really excited to be going to different places. And I think most likely I will be at New York Comic-Con, but I don't know about the Jersey one yet. So I haven't heard anything about that, and nobody has invited me yet. So we'll see. But I'm definitely open to any opportunities like that.
Oh, well, it's not so much that we have Comic-Cons. We just have like festivals where a lot of people get drunk. So if you want to go to New York Comic-Con,
you got to be
then
Jersey.
Come to Jersey for proper libations.
Jersey's a bourbon.
I was trying to clean it up.
But what kind of music festivals? Kind of festival? Or is it
we got everything. Dude, we have so many festivals.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Like
it's like culture. There was a weekend for it.
Yeah, they got it's like food, drinks, music.
Okay. I love those. Yes, I would definitely.
As a matter of fact, Portuguese festival just happened this past weekend. It's always the first weekend of June, no matter what the year is. But
yes,
in Newark, New Jersey. That's where that's the powder keg. That's where it all happens.
Gotcha.
Like half that entire town actually is Portuguese.
Yeah,
it's like what they call the Ironbound section. Half of that town is literally Portuguese. And then, of course, Carney and North Arlington and all that.
Yes.
Yeah, Portugal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brazilian Portuguese, Portugal Portuguese. I think a few Spanish over there. I've got a couple of friends that live over right back where Iberia, which was like the big restaurant there. Unfortunately, it's closed. But, dude, you go there, man. Too many times I've gone there and I've been like taste testing the sangrias to make sure everything goes right.
Oh,
you want to.
I hear you.
But yeah, in this case, I mean, obviously with, X-Men 97, it's given you so much. It's basically been, in a lot of cases, it's going to be a breakout moment here because it's going to open up so much more, especially as the show becomes a little more mainstream. I mean, in your case, you had, I think, I know you can't talk about this, but have you already recorded both seasons so far?
The second season has been in production. I haven't recorded. I mean, I don't know. Like, I haven't recorded everything I've been in, but it's been in production since last year. So yeah.
I didn't know in this case. Like I said, I know you're not allowed to say a lot of things because again, Marvel is very, very strict. I stood in on Jessica Jones, so I understand exactly how strict that is. But in your case, okay. So they have done some stuff for season 2. When you basically were recording this, usually, let me ask you this in this case. Typically, what it typically happens is you record everything, it's animated, and you go back in for post. Was that the same situation here? Okay.
Yes. I think that's the. I think from my understanding and hearing the other castmates, that's what's the process been for everybody. Certainly for me, for the exception of a couple times where, and I don't know why, because even like sometimes before we get the animatics, then we go back in for like ADR if lines have changed or whatever it is. They use scratch of like somebody in their production team will do the voices, so they so it helps because maybe we haven't gone in to record yet. But then the voice is replaced by when we go in and just read the lines. Now, I don't know what happened. I had for this, the first season, there was one entire episode. I think it was the entire episode. Because some of the episodes I don't have a lot, a lot of lines, but I can't remember which one it was. But I do remember that they had never brought me in to read the lines, so they would use it for the animatics, and maybe they were like pressed in time. I don't know. So somebody in production did it, and the animatics was based off the rhythm, and that person who actually wasn't Brazilian. I don't think they have anybody Brazilian in the in the production team. But they were Latin, and so anyway, they had like this Latin accent, but they spoke very fast, or the person spoke very fast. So I had to match that particular rhythm that he had firstly read, and the animatic was based off of that. And so that was the only time that was a little bit more challenging, because I remember there was like a little bit of a monologue, and it was so hard to fit in. Like I didn't have much to play with. I had to go within that time frame to say all those lines. I had to like say it so fast. But other than that, that's how it goes. We go in with nothing to, just the script and the lines, and we give so many different versions, right? Intonations, and we have an incredible booth director, voice director, who's Meredith Lane, who I didn't know this because, again, this is my first big thing, but JP, I remember one of the panels that we did, JP, who voices Morph, has worked with Meredith, and I think everybody from the cast has at one point, because she's been the voice director for many of the incredible shows, animated shows that we know of. So she's really a legend in the business, and so she's really wonderful and so sweet and so good to work with her. But then we just do different reiterations with different intensities and volume and whatever, and and she has a much better understanding of what the creators want and what the vision of the whole thing is, which is obviously so important, because at times we don't get the whole script, we don't get all the other scripts, and so we're there doing the best we can with what we have, and so we fully trust her, and obviously the team, and so yeah, and then after we come back, and then they've made their choices, and with the lines that we read, and maybe, like I said, there might have been some changes in the script or whatever it is, or rhythms, or the animatic change, and then we go back in to re-record, to basically do ADR, or to re-record some new lines, right?
What was the most number of, maybe per the question in this case, what was the most number of script redos that you have to do?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it was more moments, and I felt better recently, because hearing the other castmates, I thought it was the only one. At one point, I was like, "Am I doing such a bad job?" I was genuinely concerned, because I re-recorded, and I think it was the spoiler for those who haven't seen it, but the last episode with the big moment of Sunspot against Bastion, who, by the way, ironically enough, is voiced by Theo James, who I worked with in Time Traveler's Wife.
Yeah.
I went into three different. I think it was three different times. And four might be a little exaggeration. I think it was three. But I was like, man, am I fucking up this so badly? Like I was genuinely concerned. But I heard, I think Matthew Watterson, who voices Magneto, I think there was one moment that he went in like 5 times or 6 times. So there are moments that are so important, and they may be changing things, and then they see the animatics, and they keep bringing you back into like really finesse, which is wonderful, right? Because they obviously care that the thing is like so spot on, with the intention, with the intonation, with everything. But it wasn't like I was never brought back in to redo the full script. It was just like moments.
Now, in this case, with a lot of the original cast coming back, Cal Dodd, George Buza, and the rest of them, did you feel like the new kid at school?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, definitely. I met everybody for the first time at the premiere that they did at El Capitan here in Hollywood. It's when I met everybody because I recorded everything by myself. And so, I mean, regardless of the OG or the new one, I just felt like the new guy on the block, because to me, everybody, and it's true, most of everybody in the cast have like a long, extensive career in the voice world, right? So to me, it was like, I think Holly, it might be her first main thing to voice wise. So I think her and I, funny enough, with the duo that are having this like quite brand new experience. But yeah, I did, and I was so like, especially with Kyle, because of Wolverine, and after the screening, they showed 3 episodes, and we had like a little after party afterwards, and I got to the place very early with my friends, and he showed up with, I think it was his wife or somebody from, I don't know, that he was with, and he sat right next to me, and I was like fanboying so hard, and I took my photo with Kyle, and I always feel so, awkward about those things, but it's so cool, and since we did a live together, and now like we're just more comfortable, and I really look forward to being at a Comic-Con with Kyle, and yeah.
Nice. Anyone? Should I just keep asking questions? Okay, yeah.
No. I gave everyone some time, so
fair enough. Yeah, Ryan. Yeah, because Ryan, you have to talk Moffat too. So, Stephen Moffat.
Yes. So, going back to Time Traveler's Wife. Now, obviously, you were playing body double for Henry. All the times he would like flip in, flip out, and you'd be like naked as Jaybird, let's say.
No,
as
see,
someone who has,
I mean, people have asked me this, and I'll say right away. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh yeah, no, please do.
Because they had me for whatever, but Theo did all those. Everything it's Theo's body, but because I was really hired as his acting double, not his body double, which is, I mean, that was a semantic thing, but it's because I was only really called in for the scenes that there were 2 of Henry's, right? That he had to do this. So I had to do the scene, as Henry in one age, and then the next day we would swap. And so it was just to help the scene. But at times they called me in and barely used me because, Theo was doing his own things, and he also had his own stunt double, right? So, but anyway, I just wanted to clarify that.
Well, no, because I think that's probably where I was going with this, because if you look on IMDb, it pretty much has you pretty much as like second to third billing on the series. So I mean, it's considering you as just as important a factor as Theo James, who plays Henry himself. So I mean, you pretty much are like the other side of the coin on this. How did it feel actually going ahead and getting a gig like that, where you are pretty much there in presence, your body is being utilized for this particular character? And obviously, we have some experiences. I know Scott does a lot of stand-in work on Apple TV shows. I myself has actually been naked on television before. We won't get into that because that's your time. But how does it feel knowing that your body is so like as an instrument in itself? I think that's something maybe a lot of actors fail to neglect. They think about, oh, I gotta do my lines right, I gotta do my voices right, but everything can be utilized, and I think you're a perfect embodiment of that.
Well, thank you. That's very kind. But also, yeah, I mean, that experience was, I mean, I don't have enough words to describe it. It was such a jump in my career for many reasons. Coming off of the pandemic, I had tried to move to Los Angeles. Well, I mean, I was moving to Los Angeles anyway, but I was actually back in Brazil. I was dealing with a lot of personal things. I auditioned via tape when I was in Brazil with my mom, and I just kept extending my stay, because the pandemic had just happened, nothing's really happening. And then finally I'm like, I gotta go back. So I booked my flight to Los Angeles, and I auditioned. I got the tape, I auditioned, and then I think it was a week after, and I actually auditioned on a very special day, because my dad passed during the pandemic on the 30th, and I got the audition on the 29th, and I had planned to, and it was March 20th, March 30th, and I remember I was like, it's a year, it's literally a year. And so I was planning this thing with my mom and whatever, and I got this audition, and I remember I was like, damn it, never fails. I have all this thing planned. I don't have like, I don't know, but so the 29th, I get the audition. On the 30th, I tape. And then, I send it and I go by my way. I did my thing with my mom, whatever. And then I went to the beach. And I'm at the beach, and I was working with a different manager at the time, and I get a call from my manager, and I'm like, what the hell? He never calls me. And there it is. And they wanted to see me in person. And I literally, and I told him, like, I mean, he knew I was in Brazil, and at the time with the pandemic, things were much more, um, difficult, in terms of like auditioning not being in the place, because they didn't, there was not a lot of flights going on, and people were very obviously scared with
Not a
COVID.
lot of breathing close to each other or anything like that. Just
Yeah, all of
everything.
those. But he was, I really thanked him a lot, because I had an agency that didn't want to submit me because they knew I was in Brazil, and he didn't care. I told him, like, if I get something substantial, I'll be back. And so there it was. I mean, I said I could be there on a Friday, I think it was, and he called me on a Monday. And so I booked my flight. I went and met with David Nutter, who was a director, and then the following week, they cast me. So that really changed things for me so dramatically. And then the experience I had done TV shows, Spanish TV shows, Nickelodeon, a couple of little things here and there, and in American TV shows, but not a lot. And so, being such a key part of the process, I was rehearsing, with Theo, and and Rose Leslie, who's incredible. I mean, there's a couple sessions I was just like, David Nutter was a legend, Theo, and Rose, and it was just so surreal. And I was extremely prepared. Um, and I had a blast. I actually wanted to be on set so many more times, but with COVID restrictions, they did not allow that at all. Even when I was brought in and not like to record the scenes that I, like I said, that there were two of them that I was um, on set for. I wanted to be on set, but they didn't let me. I had to be in my trailer or in the studio, whatever. But anyway, it was truly incredible. It was, about 6 months, 7 months, which is also unheard of for television. But Stephen Moffat, the writer, is such a like an elite squad of filmmakers and talented artists. So it was very surreal. I loved every second of it. But I'm not gonna lie that there was, it was at times, because after everything, once when you start, you're so excited. I was super nervous. I was so nervous. I mean, the first rehearsal, the first time, the first scene that we did was the biggest scene, which is the dinner scene. I think is episode 4. But anyway, there's a dinner scene that is, the time that they reveal the two of them to the friends.
Right, and
And
then Chelsea Frey is in that scene, isn't she? As
who?
Ingrid, Chelsea Frey.
Yeah, Chelsea is
Yes.
incredible. She's
Yeah, no, I've
phenomenal.
worked with her before, way back in like
Wow,
New York
Chelsea.
days.
I
So it's
mean,
like
in
that
that
was the whole
particular.
reason I thought about the show, because I didn't even realize they were making it, and then I see her posting about it, and I'm like,
Oh
okay, I
wow,
remember the
yes,
movie.
yes,
The movie didn't do so
yes.
well,
Right.
but it's got Theo in it, and I do like Theo. Theo, I've liked ever since Castlevania. So I
Oh, there
mean,
you
his
go.
work on there, it got me interested, and then transversely, seeing that you're on there too, and I'm like, oh, so that was the scene that you did first, that big blow up.
That was the yeah. It was a
Ooh,
week. It was literally three. I think there was like 3 days after the first day of production. It was definitely my first time on set, and I think we
hmm
spent like 3 or 4 days doing it. But yeah, it was such a massive, moving parts, so many things, and with the whole, me being in it, not being in it, and then like because with the whole editing, however they do it, it's just so wild. And at times Theo had to have his like earpiece because the first day, he was recording his character for the first time, and I'm saying the lines and everything's fine. And my whole thing was like I needed, and David was so specific with me. He wanted me to match. I mean, obviously, I don't have to like try to do a voice match in terms of I'm not good at
yeah,
imitating people, but at least the rhythm. And he at first wanted me to do my best to mimic everything Theo was doing. Um,
okay,
but then after, and I think specifically on the second day when we swapped, because then they would try to get Theo's whatever he recorded the day before, because that's what, his rhythm and his whatever.
That's his cadence.
His cadence, correct. And so then they would put an earpiece at times so he could hear himself to respond to himself instead of responding to me. But he would it would mess him up so much. Like he would be so frustrated at times because he was so hard. And then for that day, David is like, don't move, don't do anything. So meaning in terms of gestures or whatever, I had to do the minimum possible to whatever, I don't know, for the editing, for the whatever, I don't know what, exactly, but there were very many specific directives to make that work for them. So yeah, it was at times like a lot of like body movement and paying attention, and then at other times not doing it, which was also a little frustrating because I'm there and I already like, especially after that scene where the nerves kind of like, I became more relaxed. Like I got to know the crew, the people.
The energy's built up. You kind of want to let it loose, let it go, and you got to restrict it.
And you become more, exactly. You're more confident, and all of a sudden you have this thing, and you want to put your print on it. You want to do your thing, and I just have to remind myself, well, my job is, this is what my job is, and my opportunity to actually create and be in front of the camera and be this character will come, so.
But at least on the plus side, you got direction, because I had to body double on something a few weeks ago, and I messaged the team. I'm like, do not contact me today, because I had to memorize about 4 pages of dialogue and do it in front of the 3 main cast members of this unspecified Hulu comedy starring 2 veteran actors and a well-renowned singer. I'm not going to mention the name in this case.
Wow, I wonder what it could be.
Plus also all of the additional cast that they brought in for that season. And they gave me no direction whatsoever. They're just like, go. And I'm like, shit. When they tell you you're going to body double, it's like, okay, your hand's going to grab an object. It's going to be like 400 feet away. The camera's with. They're just like, how fast can you memorize 4 pages of dialogue? Here, go. And I'm like,
wait, but that happened on the day?
The day they get me. I was changing into the wardrobe of the established character actor in this case, and they're just like, how good are you with copy? And I'm like, I'm good. I suck, by the way. And they're just like, go. And it was like this entire scene, and I can't really, I got to NDA it, but it was one of those things that I was straight up terrified. And that's why, if you guys remember the day that I messaged you a couple of weeks ago, I was like, do not contact me today. Yeah. That was why. So at least I didn't get direction that day. I was just like, they were just like, go. And I got all these people looking at me, and I'm like, am I doing a good job? Am I not doing a good job? I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you. But see, but I also like, I mean, and you know this, Scott, but I feel like if we're not getting notes or things like a direction, we're doing a good job. We're not fucking it up. Otherwise, we will hear it and we will know it.
No news is good news, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, in this case, yeah, you're how did you recover from the biggest, so-called mistake of your career? Don't answer that if you don't feel comfortable.
No, I'm fine. Wait, so how did I recover? Wow.
Yeah, like basically, did you, anything you're like, oh God, I wish I hadn't done that.
Well, the thing that comes to mind, and I think it is really, I can't think of anything else. It's more in terms of auditioning. But there's probably one in terms of like being on set, and there's something in my mind I'll mention briefly. But there was an audition, and I was I don't know if it was the same year or a year after I graduated. I went to a conservatory in New York, and I was working with my first manager, and I went to an audition. I think it was a series regular, I'm pretty sure, for an ABC show, not with Marcy Phillips, who I hope is still there, running the ABC world, but I actually forget her name, my God. But anyway, but she also cast some of the shows at ABC in New York. And I went in the room, and there was it was a procedural, and there's a lot of dialogue. There's this first opening monologue. And like you, Scott, I mean, these days I'm much better and more confident, but I still especially monologues and a lot of lingo, it's not easy for me. And certain procedurals is just not my thing. It doesn't come very easy. I have to work really, really at it. And I did, and I worked so much. I mean, the day of, in the morning, I had my friends, whatever, they with me to the ABC building, but I was just so nervous. And so I started, I always had the paper, with me and stuff, but I didn't want to look at it because I want to show that I had memorized and I knew it and whatever. And so I start the scene, and I say my first couple lines, whatever, and then I make this huge pause because I can't remember what I have to say next. And then I keep making the pause, and then I say the line and never look at the page, right? And I had it in my head, and so I already feeling all this nervousness and whatever. I finished the scene, and the casting director is like, "Okay, let's do it again. Look, you can look at the paper. It's fine. Just look down and look at the paper if you need to." And it's like, "Okay, yeah." But in my mind, I'm like, "Fuck, I'm fucking this up. Blah blah blah. Let's do it again. I'm gonna now, knock it out of the park." I go again. Same thing happened, probably at the same exact part. I don't remember, and I don't look down again because I'm like, I got this. And I don't think she gave me a third chance. I think she's like, okay, thank you very much. And then I just could, you know how it is. We can sense it in the room. And then I got out. I felt so, devastated and whatever. And I was just like, man, she told me to look down, and I still didn't do it. So anyway, I think that would be I never got back. I mean, whatever. I don't know if she still remembers me, but I think that to me was one of the main ones earlier on when I was auditioning in New York. And there's this one time in when I was in Miami before moving to New York, I was part of a Nickelodeon Spanish TV show, and I had a large recurring. It wasn't a series, right? It was a large recurring role, and I was working with a very prominent, known. He's from Venezuela, but he's lived all over, and he's very known in the novela Spanish world. Henry Saka is his name, and he's such a nice man, and it was great working with him. And most of my scenes were with him. But I remember I was at the scene, and there's a lot of dialogue for me, and I just kept messing it up, and we'd do it again, and I could tell because that guy didn't. I mean, he would improvise, he would do his thing, And I could tell he was getting a little antsy with me, and he's like, "Can you just get this shit right? Come on, I just want to go." My God, I was sweating, and finally I did. I don't know how many takes I had to do, but I finally got it, and I was like, "Oh my God!" It's just so. Those are the two experiences, but it's fine.
It's funny you mentioned the police procedurals, because New York City is like the king of police procedurals, between everything Dick Wolf related, Blue Bloods, Elsbeth, which obviously, I don't know. I was really, I think I mentioned this before. I was really rooting for Elsbeth to get picked up for season 2, because there's just this weird, quirky charm to it. I mean, you spent the day, you had a role in that.
No, and Carrie's amazing. I didn't get to work with her, but she's amazing, and I just from all the other shows, everybody loves her character, and I heard great things about her. And the last day that I shot in studio, she was there, so I got to meet her and got to say hello, and she was so sweet, so lovely. But yeah, I'm also very, very happy, and I have a very good friend who I met at Time Traveler's Wife. She was David Nutter's assistant, and now she works at the post-production department of Elsbeth, and we did a short film together that she wrote. She's also an actress, and Ashley Felina Rose, and so I was super happy that they got picked up for second season, because now she has a job as well. So and a lot of people that I met on set were wonderful. That set was so amazing. People were so nice, and
yeah. And as like I said, in this case, I guess maybe it's also being plugged as the new CBS cop show, since Blue Bloods is wrapping the season. So I wonder if Elsbeth is maybe taking over a little bit.
Yeah, it could be.
Someone's gonna have to.
Yeah. So
I have a question. Besides the X-Men 97, if they ever cast you for any voice acting character that is well known, what character would that be?
Any character that's well known, from anything?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at this point, there is the opportunity to expand into more of what X-Men universe is, because we saw all those cameos, and so it's very possible that they
you might pop up in Deadpool 3.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even just the Spider-Man series.
No, definitely. Look, I mean, I'm a big fan of Spider-Man, so I could say that. But if you're talking about even like nothing related to Marvel or anything like that, oh man, I don't know anything. Okay, I'll
try
tell
to
you
keep
this
your answers within the Disney world. They're paying you.
That's right. Oh,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
You are in the Disney web now.
Yeah.
So
I'm so bad. I'm so bad at these. Yeah, but there's a friend of mine that always he jokes with me like Disney key, Disney. He's like, okay, everything Disney. No, but I honestly, I don't know. I'm so bad at this stuff. But I don't know if there's maybe something that is not actually created yet, because I am such a one of my dream roles is to play some sort of knight, a knight. And so
I see that.
I was thinking, like, if it never happens in a live action, maybe these days there's more opportunities for a Latin night, or it could be like a kind of like a Zorro thing. But I was like, in the voice world, it might be a little easier. So maybe Disney comes up with a new thing that has a night or something, and that would be a very, very exciting.
I'm trying to look at him as a live action Zorro. He got like a young Zorro. I know your workout routine is pretty insane. So.
Well, that actually brings up a question I had in first, because just going through your history and your IMDb there, I mean, you're more than just an actor. You are a producer, a director. Mm-hmm. You have made films in your own right. If there was a Disney property that someone came to you and was like, hey, we're making a movie or we're thinking about doing a TV series, and they wanted you to get like in the driver's seat, is there something that you would really just want to gleam onto and like put your own stamp on?
I mean, yes, but probably something that hasn't been made yet.
Oh, so you'd want to just like start off
something original.
Yeah. I'm very passionate about stories based on or movies based on true stories. I'm really obsessed with that, and and one of my next big, whatever, my next big goal or big dream is just to direct my first feature film, and be a part of it. But if it is, I have one that I worked on, one of my best shorts that is based on a true story that we're trying to make it into a feature now, and I don't even know if it'll, when it happens, if I'll be a part of it or not. It doesn't matter. But like, I would love to sort of to ship in something that is like, doesn't have to be based on something real, but I just love those stories. They're so powerful, and if it's not something that is so unique, it's so new, I think it'd be so wonderful.
Well, I mean, you are connected to Disney now, and Lord knows when it comes to like true stories, they love their sports stories.
Yes.
They love their war movies.
Yes.
Anything during the Great Depression, they just gleam onto. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So I mean, you definitely have an outlet where you could go ahead and do something like that.
He's got a little bit of a Lionel Messi.
I think sports would be my main way in. I think that definitely could be something that's.
You got like a mix of like Lionel Messi and Dennis Quaid in you.
Oh wow!
Look at that.
Listen, you could do worse. Believe me, I get like Vincent D'Onofrio and like Conan O'Brien.
Oh wow! At least you won't be called Ted Diggs.
Yeah.
And what's his name? What's the other? He's a UFC fighter.
Yeah, that's not my business. You guys run the fight side. I don't handle that.
Yeah, right.
So that's your
those are new. Those are first for me. I never heard of those.
At least you guys get those. I get the fat kid from Superbad. All right, I don't want to hear about it.
Hey, Jonah Hill is ripped now, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But he's got the money to be ripped. All right.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. He can afford the dietitian. I can't. In your case, being from Brazil, obviously you may be familiar somewhat with the sport of soccer. Is that something you have interest in? Is it something you ever had interest in? Or is it just one of those things that was just sort of there for you?
You mean soccer?
Yeah, like obviously it's so fanatical down in Brazil, South America in general.
Absolutely. Yeah. I grew up with like every other kid like playing soccer. I actually recently, there's been this thing on Instagram about post a photo of you as a kid or something like that, and I don't have a lot on my phone from old photos, but I do have one. I probably was like 4 or 3 or 4 or 5, and I had a soccer ball with me, and I posted that one. And so I was like, hey, my my sports beginning was with soccer. But because I focused very quickly in my early teens into tennis, then I let it go and I didn't really play much at all, just because I didn't want to get injured. And then that was the main reason. And then I traveled a lot, and then I really didn't like follow as much. I'm from Campinas. It's a city in Sao Paulo state, and there's two teams that are from Campinas, and I'm from the team called Guarani. And Guarani has not been doing well, since I was born. I think they only won a tournament in '78. But I would go to the game and watch. And the good news, but I don't follow. I only really watch soccer during the World Cup. I go 100% for Brazil, and people have asked because my mom is Argentinian, my father Peruvian, so very Latin overall with my descents and stuff. But I go 100% Brazil, and even last World Cup, people were very upset at me because Argentina versus France, and I lived in France, and I was going like so hard for France. And all my family, I was in Brazil at the time, and my mom and even my Brazilian family, they were all going for Messi and for Argentina. Look, I love Messi, but I wanted France to win so badly. So anyway,
but
Kylian
how could you do this to your family?
Huh?
How could you do this to your family?
I know, that's what I'm saying. It was but it's all in good sport. I don't,
Yeah.
But I was happy. I'm a big fan of Messi. Oh, I love the man.
Well, in this case, because of our ties to MLS too. So September 21st, Messi comes to NYCFC in Yankee Stadium. So I've already been approved for press access.
I didn't know
for
that.
So,
Wow.
Yeah. So
when is that?
September 21st, he's going to be up at playing Yankee Stadium. It's Messi has very specific rules when it comes to Apple TV and the contracts. You can't interview him. All stuff has to be in Spanish, no English. So there's a lot. He, in a lot of ways, kind of runs Apple. Basically the MLS season pass now. He kind of half runs the league at this point. But yeah, so he's already been down at Subaru Park. So a couple of our guys, actually, Kyle, I think also he might have been on the field for that. I forget offhand, but yeah, he's making the rounds through MLS right now, and he's under contract, so we'll see how much longer that runs. But yeah, Messi is like soccer. Messi is one of those players that even people that don't know soccer know the name.
Yeah, correct. Exactly.
And that's
it's
how
so
big
huge.
he is. I mean,
It's
my
so
opinion,
huge.
I would have rather had Kylian Mbappe in MLS because he's younger, but
but that's the reason why. I mean, not to discredit. I think the MLS has gotten so much better, and I mean, just the U.S. soccer team and everything the last few years, right? But I think I remember I had so much more judgment, I guess. But I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, I'm like, when Kaká came to play and so many other players. I mean, obviously, even back in the day, Pelé came, basically ended his career here, but it was always or is it Zidane, and they're ending their career, they would come. And I mean, I guess it's still the case, but just the level has gotten, has improved so much. So, but I feel like, Mbappe still has a lot of years in the European League, and then eventually he will come.
Yeah, but like I said, it's one of those things. It's almost like a Fairuza Balk from Willy Wonka. I want it now. But yeah, as far as the league goes, it is definitely getting better. Apple's put a lot of time and effort to make it more notoriety around the world.
Right.
It's still AAA soccer on a world stage, but there's a little more cred to it than there used to be. The team I cover has to stop playing in a soccer field. I'm sorry, in a baseball field. So
what he's trying to say is, if you want to come to New York in September and see Messi play in Yankee Stadium.
Yes, I could probably set that up. If you don't mind sitting in the press box getting free buffet, yes, I can probably set that up.
I don't mind at all. I will let you know. September.
Actually, here's a question. You did say you're a Virgo.
I am.
So September 21st would still be Virgo.
There you go. But that's what I'm saying, and I'm doing a very. I'll share here. It's fine, but I'm doing a like a dream trip that I haven't been back to Europe in a long time, or at least by myself. I went with my family before the pandemic, but I'm going back to Europe, and because of my birthday, it's on September 5th is my birthday, so it's always on the Labor Day weekend. And so the last couple of years, I've always like gone places and stuff and taken advantage of that. And this year, I'm like, I'm just gonna do my Europe trip, unless the universe, and which usually happens for us actors. You know how it is. You book a trip, then you book a job, and how then I'll change everything. But if not, I'll be coming back to the U.S. I think around the 14th. But then I'm going to. Oh yeah, see, I can't because I'm going to Cleveland for a Comic-Con. That happens that weekend. It's the 21st, 22nd, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell him you're sick.
Yeah, no. Rob being our
Comic-Con pays him money. He wants to get money.
Yeah. He'll probably see you before we.
Yes, correct. See, I'm not. Look, if it was because in the tennis world, I am obsessed with Roger Federer. That was my idol. He still is. But even if it was him, because I've been lucky enough to see Roger play many a times, at the U.S. Open when I lived in New York. So even if it was him, I might not do it.
Just kidding.
Yeah, but I definitely going to be seeing you at New York Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. As will we if they get us, access.
Well, we're working on some stuff on the back end on that. We'll see what we can do. At the very least, we'll find you anyway. But I figure at this point, maybe we can start wrapping this up unless you had anything else, unless any of you guys had anything else too.
I was going to ask, so we mentioned IMDb earlier, and when I looked up you for, obviously, the X-Men 97, they have your character as just Roberto, but they don't have Sunspot.
Oh, it's not listed Roberto / Sunspot?
No, it's just the actual character. So, like, when I went to, because I like to do my research and stuff, and I did type in Sunspot, and it was like, wait, he's not popping up. And then I had to type in Roberto, and then it just shows Roberto. So I was
interesting. I didn't even know that.
It's a spoiler. They don't want to tell you.
Well, I mean, it kind of makes a little sense because obviously throughout the whole series, you have been Roberto. You've been
correct. I was going to say that. Yes.
Doesn't he reveal his character name at all in any of the episodes?
He names himself in the final episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. So
usually they like to when they do how you said you're at the spoiler alert, but everybody should have seen the first season by now.
Yes.
But
there you go.
So you do say your character name, so they should have added that to your IMDb.
You're right.
You could add it to IMDb. I mean, honestly, IMDb, you can add anything.
Yeah. I can request to maybe change that or something. We'll see.
Justice.
Put respect on the name. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So
I like that though. It's cool because I like to see the little dash with the other names.
Right. But Guy, man, oh wait, hang on. We got to pull this back. There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh God.
Yes. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, even the fun coach says Roberto on that.
Yeah, right. I mean, because at that time he hadn't become Sunspot yet. So
yeah,
that is just Roberto. That's 8-bit Roberto.
They should a
episode 4 Roberto,
where you're the whole Sunspot character. That would be pretty cool.
The what?
Yeah.
Chase variant. You know how the Chase is different than the actual. You got your regular Roberto, and then they can make a Chase where you're in your full on outfit.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I hope that happens with the action figure because unfortunately it's not going to come out this year, and hopefully it'll come out next year in the third wave, but we don't know. So I'm just.
So wait, you getting an actual action figure? From everything,
from Hasbro, the legends.
Ooh, I want that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just saying that I hope that they have something that it's maybe you put. I don't know how they do it, but that you have Roberto and Sunspot. I don't know what they're gonna do, but
nice. But Sunspot flies, which obviously pisses off Jubilee in a lot of ways because someone else flies too. So you gotta have a flying option with that thing. But dude, I appreciate it, man. So
thank you, Scott. Thank you so much for your patience and thanks for reaching out.
What patience? It's okay. But listen, honestly, like I said, massive congratulations on this.
Yes.
We're ready we are 100% ready for season 2.
Yes.
Obviously, we got 2 different storylines going on. Spoilers on that for going into season 2 at this point, which would mirror X-Men, the original animated series, and its own season 2, which had 2 different storylines going on simultaneously. So yeah, very excited to see where that goes. I mean, what's gonna happen with Roberto and Jubilee? You are basically new Jubilee in this case. Just want to point that out. Even with the intro running up to the cage.
Yeah, they really paid homage to that 100%.
Yeah.
But in this case, you are going to have for season 2 your own intro name there. Nightcrawler got one for the intros on there. We have come to expect new intros for every single episode.
Yes.
So I would be shocked if Sunspot does not get his own next year.
Yes, Sunspot.
No, he has.
From your mouth
fly in and just like blow up everything.
So, okay, what? Go ahead.
One last thing I was gonna say. So, did you grow up watching the original X-Men cartoon as a kid?
Yes.
Oh, little hero worship going on too.
But the main difference was because I was in Brazil. I never listened to the original voices, which is a bummer. But I was watching the dubbed version, and also I don't know when. I was very young in '92, so I don't know when I started watching it. And I mentioned this and then on Instagram, and then somebody from Brazil said I think it was also on Saturday, like you guys, but I don't remember if it was only every Saturday that I would watch it, and I don't think I watched it very religiously because I was so young. So I was just like, whenever it was on, I would watch it, my mom's kitchen and stuff. But definitely, it might have been one of the, if not one of the first superheroes I was introduced to, and then I fell in love with Wolverine. I've been saying that now that when I go back at the end of the year to Brazil, I want to see if I still have my Wolverine action figure because I had so many different ones, and through the years, my mom and I have given them away. I've kept only a few, and I think I still have a couple of boxes with some, and so I have to check. I hope I still have it. But anyway,
no, if you do find one, you gotta take yourself to the movies when you go see Deadpool and Wolverine. Just bring him along with you as a +1.
I know. I mean, I just can't wait to see that. I'm so excited.
Everybody. Oh my God.
I know. And they did like the pre-sale of the tickets. And I'm like, because that's the weekend of San Diego Comic-Con, which I will be very fortunate to be part of.
Oh my God, it is.
Oh, wow. That's a gutsy move right there.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I won't be able to watch it. I mean, and I also didn't want to, pay that far in advance. But I'm like, damn.
Unless you're lucky enough that they're going to show a viewing of it at San Diego Comic-Con. Fingers crossed.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a gutsy move.
I mean, that's possible.
That could be.
If you want to be our reporter from San Diego Comic-Con for us and let us know what goes down,
you bet I'll be like recording and sharing as much as I can, and I like to do my lives and I post, like it's gonna be all over. Yeah, maybe Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds show up, but I don't know.
Hugh Jackman is a peach. He is such a sweet guy.
Yeah.
But Ryan Reynolds, he as fellow Ryans, we are gods among men, so do love and respect.
I can't.
And have you guys seen
#Summer Ryan? All right,
Ryans. I mean, I'm with you 100%. I also I love Ryan Gosling, so I mean, I just know I like all the Ryans.
Just know you're Knuff.
Yeah. Well, you said you were going to ask something. So
what?
Oh no,
I just asked something. No, he was about to.
Oh, Ryan.
No, I was just gonna say that there's a video going on. I mean, and it's a clip of an interview between Ryan and Hugh, and that they talk about. They were asked, or Hugh Jackman had to ask him, like, what does he think the ingredient or the key element is for a friendship in Hollywood. Or for our friendship in Hollywood. It was so beautiful because then Ryan just said all these beautiful things about Hugh, and then he replied back because he's such a bromance, and I was like, oh my God, I love it. It's so,
I think we all want that because it's like when you work up with a relationship with somebody in Hollywood, it's always like you don't know if they're wishing the best for you or if they want to cutthroat and just take the role that you're going for. It gets very sticky. So I mean, the fact that they're able to do that, I think all of us who are actors, we all want that one person that we just be like,
and it's so genuine and it's so honest, and we all have that amongst our acting community, but at that level, and I think they were both already at a such high notoriety and level that then they met and then they just created this, and it's just so wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like one of them was like a tag along or like part of his entourage and then tried to get
right, or not like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck that they've known each other before they really became famous, right? Like it's a little bit different. So.
I thought we already have this this special connection.
That's what I'm saying. It's true. You guys do.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Really?
Whoa. So, but dude, yeah, again, thank you big time for everything. I'm grateful.
Thank you.
So, but if you're willing to do this again, we'd love to have it. So,
absolutely, I'm super down. Just keep me posted, and we'll make it happen.
100%, dude. Thank you very much. You're awesome. So,
thank you, everybody, and thanks everybody who joined us and asked questions, and we'll be listening.
And then they got a gripe about movies coming out in June. So,
say that again.
They're going to gripe about movies coming out in June, Bad Boys 4 and Inside Out and everything like this. So that's
amazing.
From this point, I switched.
We'd ask you to join us, but we know that you're busy. So I mean, and
it's going to be a little tough the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's okay. We've already given you an hour. It's already been an hour at this point. I feel like I'm taking too much time to begin with.
No,
exactly.
Don't feel that way at all. No, it's been such a fun experience, and I love meeting you guys. And thanks for having me. But I'll look forward to knowing what it is. I mean, I haven't actually. A big Will Smith fan. I'm a big, Bad Boys fan, and I did not watch the previous one. So now I saw I was like, I have to go back and watch the other one to watch. I don't know, probably, but
it is on Hulu right now. That much I know.
Yeah, I think they're all three of them are up there.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So see, maybe.
So if you want a marathon, go right ahead.
There you go. Sit on the couch, chill out.
Yeah. So. And before you leave, is it possible? Can we get that autograph?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Yeah,
when I see you in New York, I'll do it.
Okay.
Done.
Thank you.
So, yeah, we'll be in touch on that. And we'll, a lot of times we do get press access for a lot of these events. So we'll definitely stay in touch, and at the very least on that part of it, plus Instagram as well. So
you got it.
All right, my dude.
They will hunt you like a dog.
And they will find out and be like, "Here, give me." You promise.
No, I would not, because I'll be all over the place. But
no,
I will
please do. 100%.
All right.
So,
he's giving you carte blanche. Stalk him all you want.
Oh, you. I'm not going to be.
It's recorded here. Like there's
exactly proof.
No. Evidence.
You'll be like,
guys, thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Be good,
man. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Wow. Great.
See, once in a while I get you guys cool shit. So once in a while. So
squat.
But yeah, so Guy has always been that kind of a personality. It was one of those things that he was really approachable on this whole thing. He's like, yeah, sure, do it, But that was like a month ago. I think I started talking to you guys about that process. But yeah, we can definitely have him back on at some point, as he has more things coming in the pipeline, as he gets bigger and larger and more popular and all this kind of stuff, we can be like, we knew him when.
Yeah.
Now we're still live on Facebook, correct?
What's that?
Are we still live on Facebook, right?
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that okay? Do you approve of being live on Facebook? Okay.
No,
are we continuing live, or are we stopping to do the other stuff?
That's why I was asking if we were stopping and then restarting for the Cash or Trash, or if you just wanted us to keep going.
I would have to create a new StreamYard on that, so I figured let's just roll with it.
No way.
So,
all right.
So here's what's going to happen. So it is Cash or Trash time. With 4 people, it takes way too long. So I'm going to be doing the humble, honorable thing and ducking out and doing something else. But also be working the producer that side of it. We have picks, we have budgets, and you guys are going to be talking about what you think these things are going to do. Are they going to make money? Are they going to suck ass? So many possibilities, so many questions. But first, we will be starting off, or you guys will be starting off.
Well, first of all, before we even get into the movies, let's just say the last few times we have done predictions, it has not necessarily gone our way. Yeah. I don't know what's going on in the theater.
Predictions were definitely made.
Dude, anything I pick, like, I must have like a bias against apes, because apparently I don't think the apes movies do well. And they do, whether it was Godzilla Kong, whether it was War for Planet. It's like, I don't know what it is, but it's like anything I thought was going to be good, it did not go well.
But Kingdom of the Planet
I don't
of the
know if is that like a harbinger for the rest of the summer up until Deadpool Wolverine? I don't know.
But is it Planet of the Apes is now cash, isn't it?
Technically, yeah.
Cash,
but
yes, absolutely. But
yeah, no.
It's also one of those things where it's like it might be the only cash.
Wow.
Cash.
I mean, Frozen Empire pulled in 200 mil.
So Ghostbusters is now cash.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the Fall Guy is climbing.
Yeah, but it's also on streaming
because it's a great movie.
But it's on streaming now too, and that opens up a whole new ball of wax. Because
I hate to think that, I'd like to say that whatever we predict, whether it be cash or trash, it's like an instantaneous yes or no. But I get the feeling like as far as we get into the summer, there's going to be a lot of slow burns.
What was the budget on the Garfield movie again?
I do not remember.
It was low. It was low because I know it made up a good chunk of it just from overseas 50. Releases.
50?
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. No, hang on a second. No, that's the one from 2004.
Okay.
Oh God, 50 back then.
Yeah, apparently. Because probably half that was Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Right, but yeah, I imagine it's like that. Like I'm sure Garfield has done well enough.
60 mil on that one.
Yeah, I think it may have done better in overseas than in the States. That's the problem.
Yeah, I said.
Yeah, mostly overseas, 2-to-1 ratio. So.
But yeah, considering Memorial Day weekend was the lowest it has been since the 80s, since the time of Indiana Jones. Oh.
Yeah. Dark times. Yeah. Well, you know what it is? People just sit there and wait, or they just, play on their phone, and read and watch free shit on TikTok. I mean, Mr. Beast, 250 million subs. He's now #1 actually in the world. People would rather sit there and just watch him, give $500,000 to two people in a room.
Right.
And it's like how I saw a post on Facebook today saying that like they went and saw Planet of the Apes, and just to go see it costed them $21. When here in less than 3 months, it's going to be on Disney Plus because it's a movie, so it'll be on Disney.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's the biggest issue. Ever since COVID, there's been too much of a quick revolving time from theater to streaming.
Yeah,
whereas before you had to wait like half a year.
I was going to say back in I remember it would take a year for a movie to be from from theaters to DVD. It'd take about a year back in like 2007, and stuff. But now, getting things within a month, if that.
Solid challenge.
It's concerning, but that's something now we have to take into consideration going forward, especially with these movies in June, which some seem like they could be a hit, and others seem like they'll be good movies, but probably no one's going to bother wanting to see it.
Right.
So
now, Bad Boys.
Now that's going to be my cue, if you'll pardon myself.
Well, I'm going to hear Ryan's.
All right. No. Because here's the thing: like, I didn't give too much credit to Bad Boys for Life when it came out because I felt like a cash grab. Like, Martin Lawrence needed money, so they made the movie, and that blew up considerably. Like, that was a huge hit when it came out, and that's why we're getting the sequel. However, considering what we've seen from action movies though so far this year, especially something like the Fall Guy, and how that was middling, not to mention the fact that this is one of the few movies that have come out since Will Smith's, shall we say, faux pas during the Oscars. Do we think that he's gained back enough goodwill for this movie to work, as opposed to feeling like, okay, well, they're just doing it to do it?
I'm going to say the way things are going with this film. Do Will Smith still have that fire or that spark? Yes. Martin Lawrence? Yes. Even through tough times that Martin Lawrence been through. Even though tough times that Will Smith been through. I'm going to have to say this. Audience, Ryan, Ryan, and Rob, and Scott. this is going to be the first time you hear me say this. I'm going to put my hat down.
Uh-oh.
And call this cash.
See, why you got to fake out like that? What?
I'm going to call this cash. No, because at first we didn't have faith in this in the beginning. But now that I saw the trailer, now that I saw the synopsis of the film, we don't know if this is the end or the continuation. We don't even know if they may do a Fast X moment at the end of this film.
God, I hope not. Like, Martin Lawrence can only do so much. Don't push the man too badly. Come on.
No, I'm not pushing him to do badly. I'm hoping this is going to be cash. I want this to be cash. And by golly, this will be a redemption story for Will Smith.
And so you think this is going to be the one that brings it back around for him?
Correct.
All right. Rob, any insight?
Trash.
Oh! Just came out with it.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I'm sorry, but I don't. First off, there wasn't really a need for a fourth one. Second of all, it may be a good movie. I'm not saying it's going to be a bad movie, but Will Smith, like Ryan's mentioned, ever since the whole Oscar thing, a lot of people don't care for him anymore. Now, I'm not saying that whole thing should have took away his whole acting career, because he's an amazing actor. I love Will Smith. I've loved him in all the movies that I've seen him in, but I just feel like this ain't going to make the amount of money that it needs to, like, because it is $100 million, so it has to make $200 million. You had Ghostbusters, that is a loved franchise, that barely made cash. I don't think there's enough hold on this movie to make it cash. Okay.
So it's $100 million budget?
Yeah, that's what the title said. When we showed the title earlier, it said $100 million. Yeah, right there.
Yikes.
So
okay. Well, thank you, Scott, for putting that.
Yeah. So
at $100 million, I don't know. That's tough to swallow, because admittedly there is a fan base for this movie. We can't say that there isn't a fan base for this movie. There is absolutely. Not. But in order for it to make let's say, and like you always say, if you count in promotion, so it would be double, so $200 million. So Bad Boys Ride or Die has to make $200 million or more. And the way the summer's been going, I don't know. Like, admittedly, like Davion said, I want this for Martin Lawrence. I have never had a problem with Martin Lawrence in a movie. It could be like that stupid Roadhogs movie that he did for Disney with the bicycle game.
It was a great movie. College Road Trip, loved it.
Yes, no, when he did Disney stuff, even I like that. But yeah, it's
when does this
come? Tough to say.
What do you say?
When does this come out again?
I think
June 7th.
June 7th.
It's coming out this Friday. I will say this: you're gonna have a Will Smith movie during the summer, and you're not gonna put it at 4th of July.
Bad Boys 4th, not a 4th of July. Now,
no, but Will Smith was the king of 4th of July.
Independence.
He was the king of Independence Day. Anytime he had a movie come out, even if it was a stinker like Wild Wild West, man made money.
Yeah.
So to not do that,
this is to see if he still got it. I think he still got it. It just needed to wipe the slate clean. So I think Will Smith can pull this off. I think Martin Lawrence can pull this off.
I don't know.
I'm going to say I'm gonna say trash. I hate to say it. I hate to say it because I want this for Martin, but I think Martin can do more than just be second banana to Will. I think he should get more single roles himself. I miss the days of like Blue Streak and stuff like that. Black Knight, loved him in that. Man needs to come back for his own. This movie, I just don't see it making the 200 million. I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, with what we've already had come out and what we already have coming out later on in the year, this might be one of those ones that's like, it has a great opening weekend, but then the next movie is going to come down and just knock it off the pedestal.
I mean, the question that you got to ask yourself, is this worth paying? Or see, most of y'all have to pay the up price. I would only have to pay $8 to go see this movie. But
I ain't paying a damn thing. I got AMC A-list.
No, I know you got that. I'm talking about just in general. If you had to pay, like, I know most people have to pay $21 because their theater is an AMC or whatever.
Yeah.
The question is this movie worth paying $21? You know, or you wait for it to come on streaming in about 2 months or 1 month, and you're going to, like, there's a difference when it comes to this movie. And then next month, obviously, we have Deadpool Wolverine. That movie's going to be worth whatever amount it is to go see that movie. Because that has that movie is what the fans been asking. I don't know if anyone asked for Bad Boys 4. That's my issue.
Well, I mean, to be fair, no one asked for Bad Boys 3 either, and it still came out and did pretty well. But
yeah,
that's also a movie that came out at the beginning of the year when there was like nothing else playing.
Before the Oscars, too.
Right. I mean, it was one of those movies that's like, it came out in a dead zone when nothing else was really playing, and it dominated. This time, I don't know if it has that dominant space.
I hope it does, but
audience. For Davion's sake, yes, I hope it does. I just don't see it hitting that 200 million mark.
If it doesn't, I take the added.
Fine.
So,
and then again, I don't think any of us has a perfect record so far this year because of the way the theaters have been.
Yeah.
Hello. So next movie.
But okay. So we got 2 trash, 1 cash for Ride or Die, which apparently Dave's the only one that's willing to ride or die, so that's fine. Next one.
Inside Out 2.
This seems a little bit more likely to be a contender.
A cash,
I would say.
Which could we get our inside? There we go. Ooh,
175. Are you out of your mind? Disney, what the hell? It's a sequel.
To be fair, did the first one reach $1 billion?
Jesus Christ.
Do we know what the
first... Oh my God. Like, there's no need for that.
Do we know do we by chance know what the first one made? Because I think it made $1 billion, didn't it?
Well, I mean, I would want to see what the budget was on the original Inside Out in comparative to what it made, because obviously, but that was also back in like the heyday of Pixar. That was back when like Pixar could do no wrong, and they just put out banger after banger after banger after banger after banger.
Box office $858 million, so it almost made $1 billion.
Right, but how long ago was that?
So I will say, here's one thing. I think this movie, because it's coming out in the summer, it's going to be the kids' blockbuster. All the kids are going to be begging their parents to go see this, especially with, with us dealing with different emotions and stuff like that. I've already had a couple people I've talked to that said they're going to go see it because they want to know, because they did a really good job in the first one doing the different emotions, and you got to explore those. So I think it's going to be interesting. It'll be more of a teenager movie that, teenagers dealing with what they're dealing with. This is okay.
I'm about to say, Dave, get yourself in the scene.
Sorry.
They send it.
I feel like with this movie, I even though that's a high budget because of what we've been dealing with in theaters, I am going to say it's cash because I feel like this is going to be the blockbuster of the summer for kids. The Garfield movie, I didn't think would be as good. It did make some money, but I really think this is going to hit it the first opening weekend because everybody's out of school.
Yeah.
You don't have any other kids movies for the month of June that's going to compete with this. Yes, I think Garfield may or may not still be in theaters, but when this movie comes out, I don't think people are going to be seeing Garfield over Inside Out 2.
Right.
To be fair, I don't think there was much fanfare for Garfield to begin with. I mean, Garfield isn't exactly like a Gen Alpha property.
It's been interesting to see all the. I think either it didn't do good enough in theaters, and that's why they're trying to put out more promotion. Because I've seen so much promotion on Garfield, like partnering up with, I think it was Olive Garden did a commercial or something with.
So they're doing what they did with Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I don't know if they were giving out tickets, but they did a commercial with the lasagna and advertising. I don't know if it was Olive Garden. I know it was something, but anyways,
right, because that's what the kids like, lasagna.
Yeah, I mean Garfield likes lasagna, so therefore you have to like lasagna.
Yeah, he also likes Mondays too. Nobody likes Mondays, and I'm not really that concerned.
Yeah,
which it is Monday, and I like Mondays because I get to talk to y'all. So there you go.
Oh, don't pull that on me. Don't even start.
Oh, that's so sweet. Rob. Wait, Rob. But you're wrong.
I understood that.
No, but yeah, that 175 is hard to swallow, though. I mean, yes, it may be the pinnacle kids movie of the summer, but I mean, are the kids really going to be clamoring to go out with this? Because here's the thing. As much as Inside Out was unique, and it definitely had a very emotional story, especially when you think about the battle between joy and sadness in any person, being able to see that sadness can be a good thing. That story, that lesson that you get from it, is something that maybe doesn't necessarily get expressed too often. This, however, is essentially Pixar's version of Puberty, the movie. That's basically what it is. It's a coming of age film, which we've seen plenty of those over the years. So I can't imagine what this one is going to say that's any different from any other ones that we've seen, whether live action or animation. I would say Turning Red was probably a better exploration of that than say needing to do this.
Well, you don't know that until we actually watch this movie.
She's getting anxiety.
Yes.
She's getting ennui, which is boredom. She's getting,
or no.
What's the big one? Shyness or what are the names? Hold on, I'm gonna check.
Her names are, but I think it's going to help. Really, I think this movie's going to help out a lot of people. Like I have a friend that's dealing with anxiety that has autism and stuff, and I know she's really excited for this movie because, like I've said before, they do a really good job at explaining and letting you feel the actual character. So I think they're going to do a really good development on anxiety.
Envy and embarrassment. That's who it is. Envy and embarrassment.
So I don't know. I feel like this movie is going to be a huge success. Like I said, I feel like it's coming out at is this the second week of June that it comes out?
Yes, yeah. This should be following Bad Boys Ride or Die. So it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like this is, if Bad Boys has #1 opening weekend, this definitely will overtake it. I don't think it won't, because at least it's a familiar property. But I would also say Pixar has never necessarily been the best when it comes to like follow-ups of their original movies. With the exception of maybe Incredibles 2. Okay. Usually when they've done a sequel or a prequel to anything that they've established, especially a second one.
Yeah.
Not as good. Not as good quality-wise, not as good bank-wise.
Finding Dory was pretty good too.
I don't really care about Finding Dory because you had Ed O'Neill as the octopus. That's all I care about.
And Finding Dory was a good sequel to Finding Nemo.
Okay, but what was Toy Story 2 compared to Toy Story? What was Cars 2 compared to Cars?
Toy Story 2 was better than the first one.
I'm staying out of this. I am staying out of this. Oh, okay. By the way,
final idea. Cash or trash for this movie?
Cash.
Okay.
I'm waiting for you to say what you feel.
I want to hope that it's good, but again, that 175 budget, man, that's basically saying you have to make $350 million in order to break even. You see how long it takes for certain movies to make 300, period, let alone above that.
Godzilla versus Kong made it almost 800, like $800 million?
Yes, but that was because people went for the spectacle of it. The movie was, garbage as far as the plot line is concerned, but they like big monkeys hitting big monkeys with big lizards. You're not going to get that.
Emotions, so.
Right,
yeah, that's why people take medication to, put down the emotions.
I'm gonna
say I'm hesitantly going to say cash, but that's only because I think it's going to take all summer for it to get to cash. It's going to be like Ghostbusters again.
I think it'll get it by second weekend.
You think by second? You want to place a bet on this? You want to place a bet? Handshake. Second week or bust.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey.
Oh, put me back on the screen.
Wow. The betrayal. The other hurt.
All right. So, audience, I know y'all waiting for my response about Inside Out 2. It's a kids' film. It's a very popular kids' film. The first one made almost $1 billion. Does this film have that it factor to go forward like its predecessor?
Are you asking or are you going to tell us?
No, I'm just saying. I'm making a statement.
Oh, okay. You don't want us?
I'm just saying 175 is like you putting all your monies on a blackjack table.
Mm-hmm.
And you hoping for that lucky win to make double your money.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, I'm going to say, after this commercial break, ladies and gentlemen.
Davion, I swear to God. Where's my stick? Give me a stick.
But no, all jokes aside, I'm going to go with Ryan. It's going to barely make it. Barely make.
Just like y'all thought Barbie wasn't going to make money at all.
I was hoping it did.
What are you talking about? I said Barbie was going to be cash.
Barbie was going to make it.
And I was the one that said it would make the most money of the year, and y'all thought I was Cap.
To be fair, it was only the middle of the year.
It did become the movie of the year.
Yeah.
It passed Mario.
It did.
It's going to pass Mario, and I'm like, it's going to pass Mario, and it did.
But all jokes aside, I'm going to say cash. I think it's going to pick up more during the summer, but when its first opening weekend, it's going to do a slow burn.
The first opening weekend is summer.
The whole summer.
Like I said, it's going to make its money by weekend 2. And yes, I will bet on that.
All right. Gentleman's wager. We shall see.
Okay.
Now, as for the next movie, as much as I think that this movie is going to be pretty cool, I don't know, man. Like, usually when it comes to these kinds of movies, they do not play well in the summer.
No, it's a $40 million budget. So I'm going to say cash on this one. It's going to make its money. Million. Yeah. It's going to make its money. I really think this movie's going to make its money. You got a lot of bike enthusiasts.
I'm having really surprised by this because you figure you had big names like Austin Butler. You got Tom Hardy in there. And it is a period piece, which usually when it comes to a period piece, it does take a little bit of extra money in order to get like the look right.
Right.
But wow, only 40 mil.
My question is, where are they going to show it?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm just asking what states, because when I just looked up my theater's not showing this. That's the reason why I brought up the other movie that I know we're going to mention. My theater's getting the other movie, and we're not getting this one.
Well, the thing with this is, again, this usually happens at some points during the summer where you always have like that one really good, like almost Oscar bait movie.
Yeah.
You know, great acting, great scenery. You know, it kind of like takes you back in time. The difference is last year we had this kind of movie, but it was Oppenheimer. And we saw what happened with that, but that's also because it rode on the coattails of Barbie.
Well, yeah.
This doesn't necessarily have that influence. It just doesn't have anything that it's really going to be able to grab onto. This is simply going to be that movie for like the old heads to come out into the theater, like the 50 and up. The people that probably grew up during this era that had motorcycles and know what biker gangs were, and you know the rebelness of it.
Right.
It's not really something that I could say Gen Z or Gen Alpha is going to give a damn about.
But the older generation and probably some millenniums and stuff probably get it.
Yeah, the people that have the money will maybe come out and shell out for something like that, even if they're like those old heads that like, you know, used to be bikers and then like ended up getting like a smoothie store for their retirement, you know, whatever the store may be, but they still got like the motorcycle like tattoos and the vest is up in the attic. You know the story. Those guys are going to be the ones that are coming out.
So Ryan, cash or trash?
At 40 million, it's hard for me to think that it's really going to flop that badly. Because I mean, even if you don't even get to 80, even if you get to like 60, I'd say it's an accomplishment for something like this.
All right.
And since there's really nothing else happening that week, I'll say cash. I'll say pretty much works like a horror movie. Keep it cheap, let it make its money.
And Rob? Oh, he got that adorable face. Oh, look.
Well, Rob's going to have geological bias because it's not playing around him.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, that's why, like, because there's other movies that you guys have said cash that became trash, and it was because they weren't played in certain areas, like one of Dave's favorite movies. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
That movie was not showed in a lot of areas, and that's why I'm wondering with this movie.
I didn't say cash for that movie, did I?
Yeah, I thought you did, but I could be wrong.
I did not.
But no, I'm just saying in general. But no, I'm gonna say trash.
Even at 40 mil?
Even at 40 million, because that means it doesn't have to make 60, it has to make 80 million. Because that is the rules.
That is the rules, yes. But I would say even at 60, it's still going to be an accomplishment for this kind of film.
Trash. That's trash if it makes 60 million in our eyes.
All right.
So I'm just saying, I feel like there is enough movies going to be playing in, like, what? Does this come out the third week of June then?
Basically, yeah. June is very light comparatively to July.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this, to me, it's trash. So what do you say, Dave?
I already said it.
What did you say? I wasn't the last one.
No, I was the first one.
Yeah, he was cashing this.
Oh, then one of you, Ryan.
I'm cash too.
Oh, then 2 cashes, 1 trash. And then whatever's got it.
And hopefully, this will be good counter programming to all the kids going to see Inside Out too.
Yeah.
It will give something for the adults to do.
Now, if they were smart, take the kids to the theater and you go see this bike riders.
Inside Out too, because it's going to be a great movie in general.
No. Did he understand what I just
said? You said drop the kids off, go watch Inside Out too, and
this one.
adults will go watch this biker movie. Or you could just go be a kid at heart and just watch Inside Out 2 and forget this movie.
Oh, yeah. Live through puberty again, but from inside the brain. That's going to be really refreshing for a lot of adults.
Yeah. What's next?
And the next one we don't have a budget for.
Cash.
No, but
cash.
Really?
Cash.
Trash.
So we're talking Quiet Place Day 1, the prequel to the other 2 Quiet Place movies. Unfortunately, has nothing to do with John Krasinski or Emily Blunt's family. This is starting with a whole different character. It's setting, I think, is it in New York? I think it's set in New York, right? Yeah. So, I mean, classic alien invasion New York story. But we are seeing it from a different perspective. Kind of like when The Walking Dead went ahead and tried to make sequel series from different perspectives.
That were good.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like I appreciated what Quiet Place and Quiet Place 2 were doing, but that was also telling a very singular narrative. It was talking about the family that was between both movies. This is separate, and regardless of whether or not I like Lupita Nyong'o, which I do, I love her. Like I loved her in Black Panther, and I love her now. Uh, slay me any day, but I just don't necessarily see people gleaming onto the movie simply because it's dealing with the same monsters again, but it's dealing with different characters. I don't see.
So,
I think they put the investment into the wrong part of the story.
It's not the wrong part of the story, bro. I'm going to stop you right there. Remember, we don't know where these creatures came from. There wasn't no dialect in the first and second one, really. We don't know how.
No, but we did see how they landed in their area in the second one. We saw what happens when they first dropped
but we
down.
haven't got the full story, and we never got the city base. So,
did you really?
Yeah, because you wanted to know how it all began. Like you ain't trying to say, okay, here's one part, here's another part, and that's it. You want to do a prequel so it could be more explanatory. So it helped the audience understand the whole process of this film, of the trilogy, pretty much. Or it could be longer than a trilogy. But this is a smart move. You basically showed them from the middle to the end, but never the beginning. So I would say cash on this because just because it doesn't have the family that was from the original doesn't necessarily mean there's not audiences that's like, okay, this is not closure because we want to know the beginning of it.
Well, I mean, it's not even just that, too. It's the fact that this also isn't being directed by Krasinski either.
That is true.
Let's say it. A Quiet Place is his baby. It is his franchise. He is credited as a writer on it, but this is being done by Michael Sarnowski, who the biggest credit to his name would probably be when he went ahead and directed the movie Pig with Nicolas Cage, which was a nice little underground hit, definitely for cinephiles, definitely big movie people to get in on. But this, I'd say, would probably be his biggest full budget movie to be working on, and I don't know. It has all the trappings of a project that makes me wary. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, where's Rob?
And I mean nothing to say against the cast. Like I said, Lupita's great. It's got Joseph Quinn, who's going to be in Fantastic Four. It's got Jaimin Hunsu. It's got Alex Wolff. It's got a great slew of actors, but I just don't know if people are going to necessarily have that investment, And especially considering we don't know what the budget is on this thing, it makes it very hard to say whether or not it's going to be successful.
I say cash.
You're saying cash regardless?
Yeah. You don't have to go with my league. Go with your gut.
I mean, I hate. Oh yeah, because my gut's been so good this year. I'm the one that said nobody's gonna watch the monkey movies, and here it goes. It's crazy. I mean, I don't know. Again, it just kind of feels like one of those movies where it's like, I don't want to say it's a cash grab, but it possibly could be. And considering this is the movie that comes out right before 4th of July weekend, like if the reviews are good, it's probably going to do better on 4th of July weekend than it will be opening weekend. If the reviews are good.
Okay.
If they're not, there's another franchise in the dust. Yeah, with an unknown budget, I'm gonna have to say trash. I don't like it. But there's just too many unfamiliar aspects about this film that make me say, oh, fans are definitely going to want to come and see it. But obviously you're going cash.
Correct.
And Rob, wait, where did Rob go?
There he is.
Okay.
I'm back. Sorry, I was trying to actually try to find a budget. I don't know. I'm seeing things saying this movie could hit $1 billion. I doubt that.
$1 billion?
Yeah. No, I just read an article saying that there's theories that this movie could hit be the first time in a 6-year franchise thing to hit $1 billion. I don't really see this movie hit $1 billion. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust my camera because my stand fell.
I mean,
but
I don't understand how you necessarily do that with like so few original people involved. I mean, yes, there is the Jarman Hunsu connection, but still.
Exactly. I'm gonna say trash. Just for the simple fact that we really don't. I was legitimately trying to find the budget. I did find out that the first Quiet Place, like the first movie, was only a $17 million budget. It did make $340 million. But that being said, how much money did they actually invest? If it only costed $17 million to make this movie, which I doubt it, but we also don't know, then it would have to be cash if it was only $17 million. But with not knowing a budget, it's really hard to tell because, like, for example, if this was $175 million, I would not go cash on this.
No,
so
not even.
It's hard to say, and I wish we knew a budget. I'm gonna say trash, but the only way my answer would be cash is if we find out when this movie releases in theaters that the budget was like $17 million. That would be I know we can't really make stipulations like that, but if we were able to get a budget maybe the weekend before it actually came out or the week of it coming out, I would, Yeah.
So let's put it like this. Let's say that right now it has a trash with the quotation marks on both ends.
Yeah. And we've done this with other movies when we actually found out a budget towards, I think we did that with one other that we changed our answer right before the movie comes out. If we find out an answer June 27th or like the weekend of, if it has the 17 million, I'll say cash, but that's based on if it has more than 100 million, I'm saying trash. So,
I mean, at this point, I might even go ahead and say, hey, let me go watch The Watchers instead of this movie.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure The Watchers will probably still be out by that time because it's horror and, that's the only, really, when you're looking at June, The Watchers and this, Day One, are the only two that are going to be like really within the same genre. Everything else,
you're releasing 2 horror films in the same month too.
Yeah, whereas everything else plays to a different audience.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, if Watchers is still in theaters at that time, then you're saying, okay, now I have a choice. It's not like this is the only horror movie that's going to be out in theaters when it comes out.
Watchers coming out at the beginning of the month. It comes out this Friday, and then you got The Quiet Place at the end of the month. So it's interesting that having a horror.
Here's the caveat. Here's the caveat, and this is just stepping forward a little bit. Do you know what comes out 4th of July weekend?
No.
What?
Maxine.
Is that another horror?
Yeah.
Maxine. Maya Goth. X, Pearl, the final trilogy.
Yeah.
You haven't watched any of them?
No,
I don't watch horror movies.
It's not really a horror film. It's a slasher.
I don't watch slashers.
It's still horror.
That's still horror. That's still horror.
It's sexy horror. That's the beautiful thing about Maxine. It's sexy horror.
Well,
X was sexy horror. Pearl was sexy horror. This is sexy horror.
Just because it's a slasher, it's still a horror day.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's not, but slasher kind of like water it down so it like dilutes the supernatural aspect.
Okay, but the point I'm making is you're going to have a horror at the beginning of the month. You're going to have a horror at the end of the month. And then you're going to have another horror, a much more, I'd say in certain circumstances, a much more prominent franchise, considering the movies have come out much more frequently, following day one. Right now, day one is kind of like sandwiched here, where it may not necessarily have a lot of room to grow.
Okay.
But I digress. I will stick with my trash for right now with the quotes. And Dave, you're sticking with Cash?
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. All right. So that is it for Cash and Trash. I guess if Scott wanted to jump back in, he's more than welcome to, in case there's anything else that we wanted to talk about, or if there's anything else that anyone in the comments wants to go ahead and bring up. See, now he's trying to scare you. Now we're going like cyber horror.
He's like, "Do I want to join?" No, I don't.
Actually, I forgot to put my light back on, but okay. Yeah, you guys did fine. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So.
Oh, the Facebook.
All right, Ryan.
Yeah, so was there anything else?
Yeah. No, Ryan, you want to wrap it out? That's perfectly fine. I wasn't planning on coming back on camera, but you guys goaded me to come back.
Yeah.
Oh, you are the goat.
You're the reason I join every week. All three of y'all.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all all the reason I join.
Oh, don't enough with the sappy sentimentality. God, you're gonna make me need an insulin shot.
Well, bringing back the '90s, you know.
Dude, does all this cheese make you fart?
I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm gassed up. I'm not gonna say I'm not gassed up. That's for people in the Patreon to find out.
Yeah, well, see, I imbibed a couple of drinks earlier today based on the day I've had. The laptop was only the latest of all the shit I've been dealing with.
Well, you know what? Just for the shites and giggles, I am just going to go ahead and do one quick check through the movie master that I know, Mr. John Campia, who already put out his show earlier today. And I am going to see if he brought up any particular topic that I think is going to be necessary. If he did not, then we can probably call it a day. But if anyone knows anything that goes on in Hollywood or in the world of cinema, it is John Campia.
Okay.
He is my
you know
dude.
what? Actually, if I may. I found out about this.
I didn't even see this trailer yet. Dang.
No, we're not going to do a trailer, but we're going to do that.
Adam Sandler is picking up his golf club again. Yes, Happy Gilmore back for a sequel on Netflix.
Yep. It is part. So it is part of his Adam Sandler Netflix contract. Yeah, apparently it's filming in Garfield, New Jersey.
What?
Yep, yeah. That's what rumors are coming down with. I did not even know that this movie was actually happening until basically.
I heard it was in the works, but I didn't think they'd be filming in Jersey. I mean, it makes sense.
Garfield, New Jersey showing up because all the New Yorkers are whining about it. I was like, I got to go to Jersey for a job. I was like, shut the hell up.
Like Trump made a lot of golf courses. That's probably the only good thing he's ever done for anybody.
Oh, politics. So.
Politics.
Hey, no, but I mean, he did help out Kevin McAllister in Home Alone too, although not anymore because they deleted that scene from the movies. But anyway, listen, we never had political problems or Happy Gilmore sequels when Martin Van Buren was president. So we never had
True.
Trump, Biden, we never had those problems basically when Garfield was when James K. Polk was president either.
Although here's the thing, Adam Sandler has never necessarily been big with sequels. I think there's really only one sequel he's ever done, and that was Grown Ups 2.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah. And that was pretty much the nail in a lot of coffins as far as like.
Here's the thing: is he going to be the new Chubbs? Because I mean, Carl Weathers is dead. I mean,
well, that's the other thing. Yeah, I mean,
Grandma, I guess whatever her name is, she's going to be gone. Chris McDonald's
you lost a lot of the heart.
Yeah, I mean, Chris McDonald. I mean, they've done clips together, but Bob Barker's gone, so that's not going to work. Although credit to Bob Barker, he actually did do a fight scene in like a CBS soap opera once. Look that up. It's kind of
what if you got Drew Carey in the sequel?
If he goes on Price is Right, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would like that. I would like that.
Unless you have me as Chuck's son.
I can see him as a Chubbs Jr.
Go ahead, say it. Say it's all in the hips.
I can see Davion having a little chub. Sorry.
He's in his happy place.
Rob's like, I do not approve of this humor.
The time around, turn around.
If Kevin Nealon would be available, because what is he doing besides stand-up, I guess, these days?
Yeah.
Right, that's the thing. It's like you would have to plug in like a good amount of new actors, and it would probably be like the same old Adam Sandler fallbacks that you could probably get in that thing. Yeah, but I mean, hey, if he's filming in Jersey, I want to be on that course.
Hell yeah.
Look, make me the guy that says jackass. Let me be the guy. Let me do Joe something Flaherty. Like that. Yeah, let me be Joe Flaherty. I got a video where I talked about the man and how he was like, we were watching Back to the Future Part 2 and how he was in that and how he went over.
Well, yeah, go ahead. By the way, we will have one more thing afterwards that Rob put in the chat. So,
but yeah, as far as like that, I really want this movie to turn out well.
Yeah, please.
Looking at the Netflix offerings that he's given, it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, Alan Covert's available. Chris
Alan
McDonald's
always available.
Yeah.
My only thing is, please do not let it be like the sequel to Coming to America.
Well, to be fair, that was an Amazon Prime production. We're talking a Netflix production.
I know, but still, it's like every time one of those properties do a sequel to an iconic classic,
yeah,
doesn't go well.
Here's the thing: Coming to America, Sister Act, and Galaxy Quest are my 3 favorite comedies of all time. Coming to America sequel was meh. Sister Act sequel was meh. Galaxy Quest sequel in comic book form, which is the only sequel we ever had, was good. That was actually impressive because that was
now. Hold on, Scott. I will fight you on Sister Act 2.
Sister Act 2 wasn't bad.
It was okay. Listen, it was unnecessary. It was one of those holy shit. It made money. Let's jump on it. Kind of like when what was it? Miss Congeniality made money, or Whole 9 Yards. People were like, oh, let's bang out a sequel real quick and jump on this.
Sister Act did a 3rd one too, didn't they?
There is
the
Broadway.
They are making
a 3rd one though. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. I thought
you have at least some of the actors still doing it. You still have Whoopi Goldberg. You still got Maggie Smith. You still got Kathy Najimy. You have enough people to make it work. But look, joyful Lord, we implore thee. Like you can't tell me that did not bop more so than the first one.
I know. I like the first one better. I mean, okay, Lauryn Hill and Jennifer Love Hewitt were in that movie, fine, but
and Batman.
Yes, but I don't know. The first one had such a weird little quirky charm about it, And Maggie Smith Maggie Smith, and it worked.
Yes,
she plays the same character in everything she's been doing for decades. Professor McGonagall.
Yeah, but when you put her in a nun habit, it has a certain gravitas.
It has, it has a regality to it, if that's such a word. But yeah, no, but that was, like I said, that was Galaxy Quest 2, the comic books were good. Like I said, I really enjoyed that, and I would definitely recommend you reading that if you ever got the chance. And one last thing before I turn it over to Rob, if you ever get the chance, also read Planet of the Apes, the original draft by Rod Serling. Because the original script for Planet of the Apes, the Charlton Heston one, was actually written by Rod Serling, and you can see so much of like that Twilight Zone psychology in it. It had a bit of a different feel. It was converted to comic book form also, but you can feel like Twilight Zone and his kind of mentality, and it's like, oh, this would have been a good movie, especially if you look at the comic draft of it and how it looked. You can see a different look of what 1960s Planet of the Apes would have looked like. I think it actually would have been a better movie. Wow. Darker, too. But anyway.
All right.
Rob, Galaxy Quest. Gaxley Quest.
Speaking of galaxies.
Galaxy Con.
So what Rob wants to talk about is we did press at Galaxy Con in Oklahoma City. And everybody knows I've been going to cons for over 7 years. This was the most well-organized ever convention I've ever been to.
Wow.
Nice.
That's high praise considering what happened to the last one.
Oh,
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about the last one. But no, the way they handle their ADA, for all y'all know, I have a traumatic brain injury. The way they handle their ADA process, where they basically, if you do have a disability, they give you a wristband, and then that lets you be able to cut in front of the lines. The way that if you're VIP, majority of these cons that I've been to, the whole problem when you're a VIP or a fast pass person, they don't have like a specific spot where the VIPs are supposed to go. They actually utilize their tapes and actually put like VIPs go right here, and had it like very well organized. So when you had guests like Anthony Starr that played Homelander from The Boys, he was there, and they had it very organized. The way we were treated as press was amazing. I got to go to the VIP party that they had for being press. The best way I can compare this con to is I called it a mini Dragon Con. And the reason why I called it a mini Dragon Con is because I went to Dragon Con last year. So I know what Dragon Con's about now. They have events until 2 a.m. in the morning. You can do, they had a Drunk Mario that and it was, you'd play Drunk Mario Kart is what you'd play. It was great. They've been doing it. They said this was like their 5th event doing it. It was basically where you had to have a drink. You could not drink until it says go. You cannot drink and drive because that is the rules of the road. And you would either have to chug it down at the beginning of the match, or you can drive and then stop, put down your controller, then drink and all that.
We here at Streampunk Entertainment and Tales from the Films that do not advocate drinking and driving of any form.
Exactly.
Unless it's drunk Mario Kart.
Yeah, drinking and gaming is a different story.
Yeah.
No.
So anyway, sorry.
There's my disclaimer in case YouTube catches that.
Yeah, sorry about that. But that's why I said you don't drink when. Yeah, but anyways. So just in general, they had events to do all night until 2 a.m. in the morning. You had karaoke and you had different parties going on. So just like Dragon Con, because the only difference of why I call it mini is they'll have 3 a.m. raves at Dragon Con that go on until 7 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, Dragon Con, it starts from Wednesday, goes all the way until Monday, and you're partying all night, every night. But anyways,
Dragon Con is basically the little brother of New York Comic Con and San Diego Comic Con.
Yeah.
Well, the difference, Dragon Con, it's in 5 different hotels. But that's how they host it, is in 5 different hotels. It is for the fans, ran by the fans kind of situation thing. Also,
like going to Disney World.
The most compliment that I've ever seen, and everybody knows I'm comic fans. You see the comics in the background. It was nice for the first time ever when you go to a website, like one of the names that was there, Kyle Phillips, Kyle Higgins, sorry. He did the Power Ranger comics. I could click on his name, and it actually told me how much he was charging. If he was charging $5, if he was charging $10 an autograph. It actually had prices. And I actually got to talk to one of the people at the con that ran, and he said, yeah, we're 100% for our comic guests. We like to get them as advertised as we can. We try to make sure that, the customers or the fans can know their prices in advance, so that stuff going forward. Other cons, no. So yeah, I was very.
So it's easy to say that GalaxyCon is probably a little more fan friendly and not so Hollywood absorbed.
Yeah, I mean, they were very well organized.
Nice.
So and this was the con with the least cancels of guests in general. There was maybe 4 guests that canceled, and one had to cancel because of the whole plane situation that's been going on and stuff. So,
they didn't want to crash. Yeah.
That's
a good reason.
A couple of the celebrities, I hope to go again. And they were really good with the interviews of letting us just be able to. And then one quick little thing also is I get to be in a Christmas documentary that's coming out and I am allowed to say it because I did sign a form, but it wasn't an NDA. So I checked because I emailed the company and they resent me the form because I signed a paper and then I had to make sure it wasn't an NDA. But anyways, I watched a Christmas documentary that will be with the CW. So yeah, look for that in towards December, and there will be, I'm not going to say who, but there will be other guests from the GalaxyCon that are also in that documentary that got interviewed. So
let me guess. You're going to be shown as Buddy the Elf.
As Buddy the Elf, and talking about my experience.
Krampus.
How Buddy came, how Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Yes.
And yeah.
Jaws 4, Rocky 4.
But yeah. So anyways, so recap. If you have the chance, if there's a GalaxyCon near you, 100% worth going. They know how to run a con. They know how to be well organized, and I enjoyed it, and they did a pretty good job.
Nice.
Yeah.
So,
very good. Yeah. And I know we got to talk. You and I will have to talk about another one upcoming. I know we got to do that, so I'll talk to you tomorrow about scheduling that. Yeah. All right, so I think we're good at this point. We've just clicked over 2 hours, so I think I think all of us may have to pee at this point. At least I certainly do. Ryan, do you want to do the honors of wrapping it out, or if somebody else wants to, so I don't have to?
No. I always leave these honors to either Day or Rob. They can fight it out in Bloodsport. Best 2 out of 3 rounds. No holds barred. Make sure you dip your wrists in the affordable glue and or glass.
Kumte.
okay.
Rock, beat, scissors.
Go for it, Day.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Davion Bussy. That's Ryan. You know what? That's Ryan over there. That's Rob. And this is the legendary Scott Churchson. And we are...
Dude, I'm not legendary in my own house.
Fells from the Phil Set, and we're out of here. Woo!